Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Pro Wrestling Straight Shooter. I'm your host, DJ. I want to thank you guys as always for watching, and for those of you coming back, I appreciate the hell out of it. Thank you for sticking through my extremely long, god-awful videos. Gained a couple of new subscribers after my All Elite Wrestling video that I did a couple weeks ago. I want to thank you guys. I appreciate that. Going to jump right in today. I got a lot to talk about. WWE 2019 Royal Rumble. I'm going to give you guys, my rundown of the card as well as my match predictions. And I'm going to warn you guys right off the bat, my match predictions are awful. I think my best has ever been on any WWE pay-per-view, about a 50% success rate. There's reasons for that. I don't necessarily follow the rag sheets or the betting odds or the general internet consensus as to who they think is going to win. I book this more from like a fantasy standpoint and what I'd like to see happen. And I do that for a particular reason. This is what wrestling is supposed to be about. It's supposed to be about the surprise. It's supposed to be about the unknown. And if you're sitting there and you're online and you're looking around to see who everybody thinks is going to win, to me that just kind of spoils the whole event. So I'm going to give you my predictions, not in any particular order. The Royal Rumble is awesome, and this year, last year they killed it, especially with the women. The women really elevated themselves in the Royal Rumble match and set the tone for women's wrestling in 2018. Expecting this year to be even better. I think WWE is poised to really deliver a great event and set the stage, not only going into WrestleMania this year, but really kind of set the tone for everything they've got going on from now until December for the entire year of 2019. So let's get right in here and talk about first the pre-show. And I know a lot of people dump on the pre-show as being like, oh, well, they got relegated to the pre-show. They're not good enough for the main show. And it's like, I kill all that noise because I've thoroughly enjoyed most of the pre-shows that have been on there, the kickoff show as they call it. And I'm going to start off here with the Cruiserweight Championship match. It's a four-way with Buddy Murphy, Kalisto, Akira Tozawa, and Hideo Itami. And yes, guys, I have notes because there's a lot to talk about. I'm old, I can't remember stuff, and I don't have somebody talking into an earpiece in my ear. Anyway, like I said, Buddy Murphy, Kalisto, Hideo Itami, and Akira Tozawa, if I can say it. Cruiserweight's been killing it, man. They've been delivering awesome matches, especially Buddy Murphy. The guy has just been on fire for the last several months. I don't expect this match to be any different. I expect these guys to bring us something awesome, something special. And going against the grain here, I'm picking Hideo Itami to win this one and walk out with the Cruiserweight Championship. I've been high on Hideo Itami now since they picked him up. I know he's had some setbacks with some injuries and things like that, but he looked really good a couple years ago at WrestleMania in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, and I've been really waiting for them to do something with him for a long time. I think if they're going to do it, if they're going to pull the trigger, they're going to do it Sunday night, and Hideo Itami is your new Cruiserweight Championship, or your new Cruiserweight Champion. Moving on to the U.S. title, Rusev, which is the current champion, versus Shinsuke Nakamura. These guys, I think, are going to have a great match. For me, I think the overall importance of the U.S. title has kind of been diminished a little bit. That's not the fault of either Rusev or Shinsuke Nakamura. It just feels like the title in and of itself hasn't been all that important. I'm hoping they give us a good match. I think these guys have got the potential to do so. I'm looking for Rusev to retain in this one for a few particular reasons. Anyway, I expect a great match out of those guys. Moving on to the main card, and again, this is in no particular order. I'm just going down the list as I wrote them. SmackDown Tag Team Champions, The Bar versus Miz and Shane McMahon. Expecting a hard-hitting match here, expecting some type of calamity. It's going to be a mess. I expect just full-on chaos in this match. Originally, I thought maybe The Bar were going to walk away with the win on this one and retain the titles. However, I think The Miz and Shane are going to walk out of this one the champs. Moving on to the SmackDown Women's Championship match, Asuka versus Becky Lynch. And this is one I think a lot of people have just been salivating over. Becky Lynch has been on fire for several months. She had a couple of great matches towards the end of last year with Charlotte. Then the triple threat TLC match with her, Charlotte, and Asuka. And she's really been firing on all cylinders. And WWE has done everything possible, finally, to make her a huge star. And she's finally where she needed to be. On the other side of that match is Asuka, who came in with all this fanfare. She had an undefeated streak, and then she kind of fell back a little bit. And a lot of people were like, well, I'm not sure what's going on with Asuka. Now, Asuka lighting it up, man, and I'm excited as hell for what these women are going to bring to the table. I'm expecting hard-hitting, I'm expecting stiff, and I'm expecting a really solid match out of both of these women. Expecting Asuka to retain in what's going to be probably one of the better matches of the night. Moving on to now the Raw Women's Championship match. Champion Ronda Rousey versus challenger Sasha Banks. again, I expect another great match. Ronda Rousey has run. There's a lot of speculation going on with her right now, a lot of internet rumors and news, and I'll talk about that in another video. Ronda Rousey has been killing it as the Raw Women's Champion. She, came in last year. She's been in the business for less than a year, and for me, she's picked it up very, very well. She's been very, very good, and I think she's been a good ambassador for the Raw Women's title. However, Sasha Banks is a built-in star. Sasha Banks, to me, is money. She's always been money, and I cannot fathom for the life of me how it's taken them 2 years to try and solidly get behind her. I think they get behind her Sunday night. I'm looking for Sasha Banks to walk out the Raw Women's Champion. Moving on to, where are we at here? WWE Champ. AJ Styles versus Daniel Bryan in the rematch for that. Daniel Bryan's the current champion. AJ Styles is the challenger. Expecting these guys to put on a clinic. These guys are just gold in the ring together. I don't expect Sunday night to be any different. I expect them to put on just an absolute banger of a match, give people something, wrestling fans, something that they want to see, and that's a good wrestling match. I had a hard time picking a winner on this one. I think this one's going to go to some kind of non-finish. Not expecting this one to be resolved at the Royal Rumble. We'll see what happens. I could be wrong, and I'm probably going to be wrong, but I really don't think this one's over between the two of them. I think they've got one more good solid one left in them, and I think they continue to tell the story after Sunday night. Which brings me to the Universal Championship. Brock Lesnar, the champion, versus Finn Balor, the challenger. Everybody, Finn Balor's finally getting his rematch, which he already had, but that's a story for another day. I love Finn Balor. I'm a Finn Balor fan. I'm a fan of Demon Balor. I'm a fan of Finn Balor. I expect this to be a heavy, hard-hitting match. I still expect Brock Lesnar to walk out the Universal Champion after Sunday night. Nothing against Finn Balor. I think he's going to put on a great showing. I think he's really, really, really going to come out there and give the Beast one hell of a match. Brock Lesnar retains Sunday night. Moving on to the Men's Royal Rumble match. Last year, to me, the men didn't quite bring it as well as the women did. I thought the women had a better Royal Rumble match, and maybe that was because they gave us some real good fan service moments with some of the returning legends versus some of the newer stars. Maybe it was just a little bit of that, some nostalgia. I expect the men to pick up the tempo this year and really, really, really give us something special. I'm not going to go too much into what I think is going to happen in the match other than give you my final four. My final four, and again, going way against the grain here, again, fantasy booking, guys. Drew McIntyre, Andrade, Samoa Joe, and Apollo Crews. That's going to be my final four in this one, and I'm picking Joe to win the whole thing, just simply because I love Samoa Joe. He has been, and here's a guy that when he was in TNA and Impact, I couldn't have given a damn less about Samoa Joe. The guy didn't sell me a ticket. He didn't. It's nothing about him said, hey, I got to watch Samoa Joe. He's on TV. Since he's been NXT, WWE, Samoa Joe has been in my top 3 to 5 guys consistently for the last 2 years. I think Samoa Joe's due a big win, and I think Sunday night the Royal Rumble is the win he's going to take. Moving on to the Women's Royal Rumble match, and again, the women have a chance to stand on the shoulders of last year's Royal Rumble match, make it better, make it even more special. I expect a few returning legends to come in there and mix things up again. My final four on this one, I'm looking at Liv Morgan, Charlotte, Naomi, and Carmella. That's my final four in this one, and I'm picking Charlotte to win the whole thing. I think Charlotte is really, as an overall package, the best woman on the WWE women's roster today for a variety of reasons. And I feel that way for my reasons personally. I really think Charlotte, moving on to WrestleMania, Charlotte is the one to take the Women's Royal Rumble this year. Surprises. Every Royal Rumble match has a surprise entrance, has somebody, from the past. They bring back a legend. They bring somebody in from NXT. A couple years ago, we had Adam Cole, baby, in the Royal Rumble. He looked great. Went back to NXT. If they're going to do any call-ups or if they're going to bring anybody in for a one-off from NXT, I think Sunday night is the night. In the women's match, I look for a call-up in either Shayna Baszler or Bianca Belair, whoever the loser is of their NXT Women's Championship match on Saturday night, ends up in the Women's Royal Rumble this year on Sunday. I'm picking Shayna Baszler because I really think Bianca Belair is going to beat her on Saturday night at NXT TakeOver. On to the men's match. What surprises do I think are going to happen? I don't think there's going to be any huge revelations, nothing grandiose, nothing that everybody's going to wake up the next morning and go, oh my God, can you believe who came back? I do think One of the surprise entrances is going to be, again, depending on who wins or loses their match. Whoever loses their match, it's going to be either Johnny Gargano or Tommaso Ciampa. I'm leaning towards Ciampa because I think he's going to lose to Aleister Black, but could be Johnny Gargano. Who knows? I think one of those two is going to end up being the Royal Rumble. Maybe I'm wrong. Who knows? Like I said, my predictions have been crap for the last, 2 or 3 years, but this is the fun of it, guys. Anyway, that was my extremely awful video. If you made it all the way to the end, again, I thank you as always for sitting through this with me. Please, if you dig what I'm doing, I'm trying to build my audience. Share my videos, get my name out there. I'm trying to interact with more people. More people means more topics. More topics mean more videos. More videos mean I can put more content to you and keep this conversation going. I'm Tats Deej. Thank you guys. I love you. And I'm out.